Try to keep it all 100% factually accurate. Usually I shorten it or do something. On 11/11/11, I was hanging out with Tuki, who I love dearly. And she's still alive. And as dearly as I love her, she loves puppies. And we saw a poster that said like, actually it was on 11/10/11. There was a poster that said like, come to this address for a dog. And I was like, oh, that's weird. There's no phone number. There's an address. I'm not going to go to someone's house and go, is there a dog here? And then they'll go, no, but give me your wallet. So.
Is there a photo on it?
No, just come to my house. And I was like, no. But the next day, I saw a girl writing or messing with it. And I was with Tuki. And this is 11/11/11. And I go, are you putting a phone number on there? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I would have gone, but it wasn't a phone number. And she's like, yeah, I didn't really think about it. And she goes, Vlad? And I was like, yeah. And I guess we met years ago at the old shop. I don't remember. She was like, you should come check out this dog. But it was Tuki. If it wasn't for Tuki, I never would have gone. As dearly as I love Tuki, Tuki loves puppies. So we go to see this dog right down the street, right outside Heliotrope Sunset. And there's Chumba, before he was Chumba, and his sister, which was an ugly, mangy, and annoying dog. Just annoying. And just kind of like dumb. You could tell she was dumb, and she wasn't like interested in what was going on. And she had no personality. There was no articulate. It was just like a dumb, like an old mop kind of a dog. And then Chumba, that was like, hey, I know what's going on. Like, hey, I see what's going on. They give us 99-cent store cat food. Like, they don't treat us right. And you can just tell. And I'm in this house, and I'm like, wow, this is rough. And Chumba's just like, come on, get me out of here. And immediately I was like, yeah, all right, this is the one. So I get Chumba, and I take him. Well, this was before he was Chumba. He didn't have a name. I don't know going into the whole story of the dog.
No, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that part.
I know. I don't tell it. Because it's sad. But they found both of them in the litter right outside the street, like the day before.
In the litter? In the trash?
Well, him and her. They were right out in the street. It wasn't like a litter of puppies. It was just the two. But they were baby puppies.
They found?
The girl, the family. I don't know. The girl who put up the flyer.
I thought it was a drug house or something.
No. Oh, that's right. They found them outside of, like in the street by a crack house. That was, like, boarded up. And that's where I used to trap rats in my old store. Or mice, actually. They were cute little mice. And then I would let them go there. Which I thought was fun. I had a little butter knife with peanut butter on the end. And they would crawl to get the thing. And then they would fall into a box.
Oh!
And then I would let them out. And they would go shoot and run into this big abandoned house.
That's the most adorable mousetrap ever.
It was cute. It worked really well. I don't know why I had mice. I don't know. They were cute mice.
Because they were weight.
Because yeah, they would walk. They would walk up to the peanut butter, and then they would fall in because it was like the knife would fly up.
The knife fall on top of them.
No,
hit them on the head and hurt
knife.
them at all.
No, the fall, I guess, but it was like this long shoot. And then I would just take it out there, and I would set it down, and they would just sit there for a second, and then I would rattle the back of the box, and he would fucking shoot out into this weird crack house.
But the knife would drop in the box, and they got to eat the.
Yeah, exactly. So they're eating, and then they'd leave, and then I'd get the knife out and do it again.
You'd like them.
No, I'm allergic to peanut butter.
Oh, right.
So I was like, enjoy it, fellas.
Why'd you bought the peanut butter just
One of
for that purpose?
Brian Randall or somebody who lived in the. This is the second shop where people live because it was like a live workspace. So somebody, I don't know whose it was. But I knew fucking they love peanut butter. It smells so strong. It's falling. I just get like 3 a day. It's fun.
So the family rescued, but they couldn't keep it.
The family rescued him. They couldn't. They had no desire to keep it. And so I took the dog. And they stayed. He stayed with me, and I was going to find him a home. Was the original plan because I didn't really want him.
What happened to his sister?
I don't know.
All right.
That was a dumb dog. The sister was just like a dumb animal. Like I had a cabbage. It was just sort of, just like stupid. Like just that like.
But they looked like each other?
Not terribly. A little though. But they must have been siblings, I think. They were both very, very, very small. No, that's embarrassing for you. It's not for me. It's not my phone. I put it on silent. And that's the story of how I got Chumba.
Okay.
And I had him for a few days. Didn't have a name. I was trying out different things. I'd call him Dog Meat. Dog Meat! But he wouldn't turn. And I called him other names I can't remember. Nothing really worked. And then Chumbawamba was on, and I went, Chumba! And he turned. I went, you're kidding me.
Wow.
Chumba! And he was like, he would do that little prancing thing. And so I was like, all right, Chumbawamba. That's what he wants. That's what he wanted to be called. So I had him for about 3 weeks. It was the very beginning of December. I had him 11/11/11. This is like December 1st or 2nd. I actually could check because I know the days. And this kid was walking down the street, skinny, sort of, what do you call it, like shuffling? Almost like he, I don't know, he's very feminine. He had long hair, like curly hair, and he walked. What's that?
Swishing?
Swish, yeah, sashaying almost. And he had like boots. And he was like from the Midwest. No disrespect to the Midwest. I'm just like, I saw him and I was like, the boots, everything. I don't know. And he looked totally downtrodden, just beaten. And I asked him, I go, hey man, okay, what's going on? He's like, oh, I drove out here from Chicago for this girl, didn't work out. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, man. It seemed like a nice thing, not a creepy thing. I was like, oh, that was really a fucking bold move, you know? And I'm like, what kind of stuff do you do in Chicago? He's like, you know, I really like Rocky Horror Picture Show, and, you know, I like to go to those, you know, they're interactive, and, you know. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And he was like, I don't have anywhere to stay. And I was like, okay, well, if you want, you can stay, because I had couches at the time, and Ray lived there, so there was already one girl or one person staying there. So I was like, dude, you can crash in the shop, totally fine. And I didn't interact with him a lot. I was gone a decent amount of time. Like, I kept leaving periodically, and he would leave periodically, so I didn't really see him. He was there for a couple days, and then I knew he was leaving the next day. He's like, I'm gonna leave tomorrow. I'm like, alright. So I knew he was gonna leave, but then he left the night before without saying anything. Without saying, like, which is like, whatever, but like, it was odd. And he left the door open about 8 inches, maybe 12, maybe not, yeah, probably about 8-9 inches. And the dog was gone. So what do? I think he stole my dog. That's what I think. Call him, doesn't answer.
Did you already think that, or did you think? Why didn't you think Chumba just ran out or left?
Because
the door open?
come on, he left. He did the Irish goodbye. Left the door open a little, clearly to make it seem like the dog ran out. Like, why would you? No, I don't buy that. Plus, he was completely unloved, and the dog loved him. I mean, the dog was a dog. So
I'm glad you didn't waste time looking, searching.
No, I immediately was like, when I went outside and looked around, I went, no, there's no way. Because he didn't do that. He really didn't run out. Like, he would run out to another dog or something, but he never actually left. And then, see, this is why the story gets, I know I skip all of this stuff, but just for posterity, who's the dreadlocked anthropology teacher?
Dr. Bartelt.
Dr. Bartelt. He attended one of his classes. They knew each other. They would have beers at that shitty sports bar across the street.
Faculty.
So they knew each other. I knew they knew each
they
other.
actually drank, like he drank Dr. Bartelt.
Well, I think he's a nice guy, Dr. Bartelt. I think he's the kind of guy who's like, you clearly need to talk to somebody. And I was the same way. I was like, hey, you need to, I mean, everything about the kid was shitty. Like, he was very punchable. But it seemed like he'd been punched a lot. And they're like, I think if Bush got his ass kicked a little, or Karl Rove, that would actually help their personalities. But then other people, I think he got beaten for no reason, because he just is a shitty kid. He can't help it. Like, just genetically impolite. Like, there's something rude about him. And so anyway, I took pity on him, and I was like, hey, I tried to, like, hey, man, try to, like, be friends, and he was just shitty, because he's just a shitty, weak, he's a very weak person. And So anyway, I called you, I think. I went with... Because I'm telling you the whole story now. I haven't told this ever. So Kevin Cash was there, and he's awesome. He's probably wearing a cape at the time. And he was like, let's go to the LAPD. So we went down to LAPD. While we're at LAPD, I'm on the phone calling the school, trying to find his information. Dr.
Bartell.
I thought so. I thought it was Bartell, yeah. And I call him, and he was like, hey, man, have you seen this kid? And he goes, oh, yeah. He left. He's driving, or he didn't know where he was going, but he saw him in a car driving. He said he was leaving. And I go, was there a dog with him? And he goes, yeah. And I went, I fucking knew it. Before this, technically, see, I haven't told this. Before this, I already bought a plane ticket for the next day. And Kevin Cash was good enough to say, if you can't, whatever money I've made in like the years I've been doing the shop, I had enough for a plane ticket to get out there and maybe a one-way ticket back. I paid one-way ticket to fly out there the next day. Kevin Cash said, I'll cover you if you need it.
Oh.
Honestly, it wasn't, and I don't know. I probably would have done it, but it's like saying, would you have jumped if you didn't know there was a net? And I think I probably would have, but I can't pretend. I did this thinking Kevin Cash has my back, and if I didn't have that feeling, I still probably would have done it. I think, but it's easy to say that now because I know I had that cushion. So anyway.
You'll get to it, but wasn't Kevin the one that said, yeah, go ahead, take it? There was some
No.
other guilty person.
That was a kid
Okay,
named...
good point.
Well, wasn't going to tell it. Do you want to...
Well, yeah, I want that too. I'm not necessarily going to
No,
write
I know,
everything
I know.
if it doesn't really fit in.
Right.
But there's some people I want to punch.
There was a kid named Zach.
The one that loved tugboat, and then he'd
The
come to
redhead
the car,
kid.
right? And he'd spill wine on me in tugboat. He's like,
Yeah, it's probably him. Yeah, that's Zach. I can't think of his last name. I think his name is Zach. But he's similarly shitty. Like, I'm not even mad at him, and he still won't talk to me. Because he's like that kind of weak, where it's like, I'm like, it's cool, man, like, whatever. Because he thought I didn't want the dog, which is technically true. I didn't want the dog.
yeah, but you didn't want a shitty kid to take the dog.
If the kid came up to me and goes, look, I have a house and a yard, and I love this dog. No one else loves me. I'd be like, yes, take him.
Right.
God bless. Godspeed. Take the dog. If you steal a puppy, you automatically lose the rights to have a puppy. Like, that's automatic. And I remember every detractor. I don't want to go through all the names. I remember everybody said, oh, you can't afford it. You'll never find him. How are you going to find him? All this people just shitting on me. Like, what do you even care about that dog? I don't care about the dog. I don't care about that dog. You don't care about right and wrong. That's what I care about. This is an easy decision for anybody. I was in charge of the dog and his well-being. If he got hit by a car, I wouldn't care.
Okay, what if it had been Chumba's sister? Would you still have gone?
I would never have put myself in charge of that dog. That's absolutely right.
Because there is a little bit of Chumba that makes, I would think,
No,
adds
I never would have pledged myself to Chumba's sister.
Right. I mean, Chumba's awesomeness.
But I pledged myself to Chumba because he was a good dog.
Right.
Obviously. Like, if he saw something I didn't want, but I didn't want him, but I want him to be healthy. I want him to be happy. I'm looking out for him. And so this whole idea that, like, if he got hit by a car, I really wouldn't have cared. If he was stolen, if he ran away, I'd be like, oh, he ran away. Like, that's a shame. I hope he's fine. But he said he was from Chicago. And I had that lead. If I didn't have that lead, I would have been fine. But I could only think he might have gone back to Chicago and do nothing, or think he was going back to Chicago and go do the right. I mean, it was right and wrong, so easily black and white in my mind. That I remember everybody was like making all these sort of practical. This is like what's like. Well, this bugs me. Anyway, so LAPD can't do anything, obviously. I mean, I get it.
And you bought the plane ticket. And
I bought the plane ticket. I went to LAPD.
And they, do you remember what they said? Or
yeah, they were just like, we'll file a report. But what can you do? They can't do anything. He's leaving. They're like, I assumed he's going back to Chicago. They're like, well, he's not in our jurisdiction anyway. Like, no LAPD cop is going to pull him over if he's in Nevada or whatever. And I was like, right. I mean, I get it. I don't feel bad. Like,
put a APB.
Not an interstate AP. I don't even know what car he had. It would have been like, pull over this kid if you see him. Some guy says he has his dog. Like, I still can't prove anything. So, by the time that's all over, it's fairly late. And I am on Facebook. So, I know I'm leaving in the morning. I don't know what time it was. I know I'm leaving the next day. I think it was the morning-ish. Yeah, it was. It was like 11 a.m. So, I know I was leaving, so I get on Facebook and I make a page. And I had a picture of Eddie, is his name. His last name is Lestat, which is clearly not his real name. It's a vampire name. Because he's... So...
Got on Facebook.
It was all private. This thing was all private, but there's a photo of him, and I drew with like MS Paint, like puppy thief with an arrow pointing at him, and I wrote, "Hey, I'm going to Chicago tomorrow. I don't know anything about Chicago. I don't know how to get there. I don't know where I'm going. This kid stole my dog. I don't know where he is. Can anybody help?"
And you put it on his page?
I put it on. I made a page for it for people, and I invited everybody, that sort of thing. People though, which I don't like. Like, I didn't condone it. I didn't want them to. But they harassed him and his friends on his friends list. Like, they were just, like, finding all these people and going, "Hey, this guy's still help. Can you anybody help?" And they were, like, harassing his family. Which is, like, I get what they were doing. And it was to help. I mean, obviously. I never thought that strategy would work. Because it would just make him more alien. Or more, like, retract more. Because it was, like... Anyway... And I was afraid they were going to say, "He's coming after you." And I was telling them, don't say I'm going to Chicago. Because then he'll change his behavior. You know, who knows?
How did you do it, though? You invited all his friends to like
your
page?
No.
Like, how did his friends see your page?
I put up a page. Like, and I put it on my wall. So everybody sees it. You know what I mean? Like,
so your friends...
The way I have the Vlad the Retailer
and then your
page.
friends saw, okay, I see this guy, I'm going to...
And they're like, "Hey, fucker." And people wrote some vulgar, like, shit. Which is hilarious. It is. But if they asked me, I would have asked them not to do it, because it would just make him more scared.
Yeah, he might have hidden more.
Yeah,
or something.
Or gotten rid of the evidence. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, I didn't like, and I don't want to harass the kid. He's clearly broken-minded. Like, it's not. I don't want to harass him. He's on a ledge. You don't go, "Hey, faggot, get off the ledge. What's wrong with you?" Because then he'll jump off the ledge and I'll go back inside. And that's what they were doing. They were like, your ass is grass. Or whatever. I'm like, what are you doing this for? So anyway, I got everybody was doing this, which again was very nice. Their hearts were in the right place. And then this girl with a fake Facebook name, clearly, contacts me. "Hey, I'm in Chicago. Maybe I can help." And we have a mutual friend who I don't really know. So I don't really know this person at all. And she's like, I'm like, "Oh, that's amazing. Whatever you can do. I don't know anything about Chicago." She goes, "Well, it's freezing because it's December." And I was like, fuck. Which is where I have to go back again to Kevin Cash. He gave me coats and scarves and gloves and a hat and wool socks. Like, fucking really, that saved my life. Kevin Cash. So she says, "Look," I'm like, "Yeah, however, whatever you can do." I was like, "I'm flying in. Where's the nearest place I can sleep?" And I was thinking of 24-hour diners that I can stay awake in, or like buses that I can like sleep on the bus, or hostels that are really cheap. Because I only have a few days until I run out of money and I can't fly back. And she's like, "There's nothing near the airport. You're gonna need a taxi or rent a car." And I was like, "I don't have any money and I don't know how to drive." So she goes like, "Look, I'd come pick you up at the airport, but I've had a lot of stalkers in my life and I don't want to just, no offense, but like, I don't know you." And I was like, "No, I totally get it." And I was like, "Well, what about hitchhiking? Or is there, how much would a cab cost?" And she was like, "It'd be like $80 or something." I don't remember, but something. I'm like, fuck. And she goes, "You know what? I'll pick," and I could just hear her sigh. This is all on her Facebook, and I could hear her sigh. She goes, "You know what? I'll give you a ride from the airport to a hostel." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." I mean, I know, like, it seems like not a big deal, but that's huge. Like, that's going to save me another day. I was like, "What are the hostels like?" And she goes, "Oh, they're full of bed bugs and guys with knives and drugs." And I was like, shit. And I was like, "Okay, well, how much do they cost?" And the same thing. It was like $80, like something expensive. And I was like, fuck. And she goes, but I didn't say any of that. I was like, okay. And she goes, "You know what? I have a small studio apartment. It's just one room, but you can sleep on the floor if you want. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I really cannot thank you enough. And she goes, do you have any dietary restrictions? I'll make breakfast. She literally says dietary restrictions. I remember, I've told the story enough times that I remember everything that was like verbatim. And she goes, do you have any dietary restrictions? Do you have any dietary restrictions? I'll make you breakfast in the morning. And I was like, this is why you have stalkers. You realize this. Because now I'm like, I turned into therapist instantly. I'm like, you're being too open with, I'm a stranger and I'm almost talking her out of it. But she's lovely and I think an angel and did everything, saved my life. So I land in Chicago and I meet her and we get in her old Volvo, a cool 80s Volvo. I love that car. And we go to her place and I get on my laptop and I'm Googling and I'm trying to find something. I found he has a brother on Facebook who works at a pet store in Chicago. He's enormous. The photo of him has an alligator on his shoulders. So it's like, Eddie is a weak kid. Like, I wouldn't want to hurt him, obviously. Or I don't even want to intimidate him. But it's like, this kid's like wet spaghetti. Like Eddie is not. This other guy looks like he eats alligators, So I'm like, oh shit. Like, this is my lead. I gotta go. And he didn't look, I don't want to be judgmental, but you look at a Facebook page and what they write, photos, he did not look like a reasonably intelligent person. So if I was going to have to appeal to his sympathies and sense of justice, I felt like I was not going to win this argument. If I'm like, hey, I know he's your brother, but he stole my dog and I'd like him back, he'll just punch me. Like, he didn't seem like a thinker. So I was like, this is really not going to be easy.
He worked at a pet store. Maybe he kind to animals?
No, he looked like, I think he had a dead alligator on his shoulders.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I don't know. But he was an enormous dude. He just looked like an idiot. And he looked like a date rapist. He looked like a date rapist. And he actually wrote things that are semi-date rapey. He was I don't know. I never met him. I'm just saying on his Facebook page. He looked like no one thought I could have an argument or a discussion about compassion. So I'm Googling, trying to find something, and I'm looking for Rocky Horror Picture Show. And there's nothing in Chicago. No, I mean, it's hard to say, but there's nothing there. So I check Illinois, and in Minooka, Illinois, that night at midnight, Minooka's about 3 hours south, that night at midnight, they're playing Rocky Horror Picture Show. So, this angel of a woman works at REI, like the sporting goods place. She takes a day off of work that Saturday. So dog was stolen Thursday. I fly out Friday. This is Saturday. She takes the day off work and drives me around to the Chicago Police, Illinois State, and now Minooka County. We drive all the way 3 hours south to Minooka after hitting all these police stations.
And what the police there say?
Same sort of thing. But I was like, well, it was